All right, hello, and thank you for listening to the very first episode of Cut the Line. I'm Ali, and today I'm joined by.
Hey guys, it's me Ahmed.
Hi guys, I'm Aya.
Hey guys, I'm Fatima.
Hi guys, I'm Mihna.
Hi guys, I'm Ranim.
All right, since this is the very first episode of Cut the Line, which is a new show by Al Podcast, we don't really have anything to discuss about, really, because we haven't done this for 8 months.
Yeah, that's kind of, it's the first time in a while that we've been professionals sitting at the desk recording and everything. So
Yeah, exactly.
And some of our shows have changed, like Hypocrisy, which is now considered a mini-series. Some of the hosts of Hypocrisy, like Ahmed and Fatima, they are now part of Cut the Line as well. So I'm glad to have you both here.
Thank you, Ali. I'm happy to be a part of this new show. It's eliciting and very exciting. We haven't done this in a while, and I'm glad to be back to recording.
Yeah, and we also have Ranim. She used to be the host for Hypocrisy, but Hypocrisy changed at the very beginning. Do you remember that, Ranim? That was like a year ago.
Yeah, I remember. Back in quarantine. First quarantine.
Yeah, and Mehna, he was also the guy behind all the editing. So all the shows, or most of the shows, like 99.9% of our shows have been edited by Mehna. So yeah, thank you very much, Mehna, for doing that. We really appreciate your hard work. And you can finally hear the editor's voice now. He's finally in the show Cut the Line, although Mehna, were you part of the first episode or the second episode of Spot and Strike?
I remember us doing a beta episode, trying it out and see how it goes. And I don't think we published that, to be honest. I think the first episode, I wasn't part of it. I was like, you know what, let me stay behind the scenes. Let me edit the shows. And I want to be part of the project, but not in this show host form, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm really excited to be part of the team. So
yeah. And finally, we have an amazing person. She is a new host in AL Podcast. She wasn't really a host before. She was a guest of an episode of Hypocrisy. It was about mental entropy. I think that's the title of the show. So, hey, thank you for joining Cut the Line. We're glad to have you here as a host.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really loved being on that one episode, and I'm really glad to be a host. I'm glad to be a part of your project.
So let's be completely honest. Some things have completely changed over the past 8 months.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of things happened, There were some structural changes to AL podcasts. Some people have left. Some came to our group and to our team as well. So you'll see a lot of changes in the way that we might tackle certain subjects, certain problems around the world, and how we will shift our focus on the podcast from maybe covering more profound topics to actually battling real problems that exist in the real world. It's an exciting chapter for AL podcast, and I'm really, really looking forward to what's next, and I'm hoping that you guys will enjoy it as well.
I mean, to be fair, Spot and Strike was technically supposed to be what you just said, but unfortunately it didn't work out. First and foremost, the name, and Ranim was the person that was constantly telling me, why are you thinking of that name? How on earth does the name suit the actual show? Do you remember, Ranim?
I didn't dislike Spot and Strike because I didn't think that it suited the theme. I didn't like it because it just seemed like a cheap seek and destroy, and I didn't want us to be like a cheap knockoff of something.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't really that good, to be honest. It was it wasn't bad because technically we just started AL podcasts then, and we didn't really know much about podcasting as a whole. And it was just primarily arguing about things related to the education system, the ideal education system. With Cut the Line, it's not necessarily just the education system like we did in Spot and Strike. And Hypocrisy, it was mainly the deep topics. We're not going to have that anymore. For Cut the Line especially, it's going to be a combination of Spot and Strike and Hypocrisy, but the good parts from both shows, obviously. And the good thing is that now our episodes they're not as long, basically. That's what I want to say. It's going to be maximum 30 minutes. If it will exceed that time limit, It will be part 1 and part 2. Part 1 will be released on the same day, which is most likely a Saturday. I'm not entirely sure. We haven't really discussed the actual schedule. And part 2 will be published the day right after part 1 will be published. Not like what we did for the mental entropy episode, which was like an hour and 30-minute podcast. It was very long, so we made it part 1 and part 2, and they were published like 1 week after another. That was I wouldn't say a fatal mistake. I mean, it was just a mistake. And I'm glad that we learned from it. We're not going to do that again, thankfully. And we'll also have, we're not going to have 4 hosts anymore because obviously the show is 30 minutes. It's going to be 3 hosts. Of course, not necessarily just the same host. It can be a guest from time to time, depending on what the topic is about. Because Cut the Line, as I said, it's not going to primarily focus on one specific thing. It will have the same structure when we will debate. Like, obviously, there will be a person that will disagree, just like any other debate. But yeah, that's basically just the same structure. Cut the Line is just like the debate podcast of AL Podcast. We will have other podcasts as well, like Talkame and Timeout, but that's a completely different thing. I'm not going to speak on their behalf. They can, talk about their things. It's completely different from ours.
Yeah, and also you have to, explain them the fact that, Cut the Line will present the best of both worlds. You will see, world matters, world problems of today in the real life intertwined with the, subjects and the matters covered in hypocrisy. You have to think that Cut the Line will actually bring everyone together. It's supposed to be the main show, where you get all the information that you want with a little bit of flavorings from, other shows as well. We are really excited about this. I think I've said that many times. And we are looking forward to see all of you guys on our podcast, see your comments, your likes, your, dislikes as well. Maybe you don't like something that we've just added into this new format. So we are, open to any criticism that you might have on this matter as well.
I mean, we're humans after all. It's not like everything's perfect. We make mistakes and we learn from them. And that's just the beauty behind humanity.
Like AL Podcast is a journey for us. It's a group project where friends get together to do amazing things.
Yeah, and also the audience who have supported us over the past year. Thank you very much. Although, to be fair, our audience were just our classmates or teachers. But still, if you weren't really part of it, I'm glad you're part of it now. I'm glad you're listening.
Don't forget to tune in for our next episodes, which we will be filming every Monday, and it will be coming out, I believe, every day after that. So
Yeah.
And thank you very much for listening to Cut the Line.
Have a great day.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Goodbye.